considerations and came to the agreement that no learner who is repeating S4 under the old lower secondary curriculum shall be disadvantaged in our transitional arrangements. Therefore, UNEB is going to further study this and formulate a roadmap which shall be communicated to the public once it is ready, as soon as possible, to enable preparations for registering those who are to repeat S4. I must thank UNEB now for the work so far done in ensuring that we have a smooth transition from the closure of the old lower secondary curriculum, end of cycle examination. Therefore, I encourage all eligible persons who wish to repeat UCE under the old lower secondary curriculum to take this single window of opportunity in 2024 and register for UCE once UNEB makes that announcement. I wish to make it categorically clear that the 2024 Uganda Certificate of Education examination will be based on the new lower secondary competence-based curriculum. Learners who are repeating UCE under the old lower secondary curriculum shall not be subjected to the assessment and examination processes of the revised lower secondary curriculum, and the UCE certificates shall clearly show this distinction. Those who will repeat, when they go through, they will still hold the certificate for UCE 2023, not 2024, even when they repeat in 2024, because the curriculum is different, and we don't want to disadvantage the 2023 candidates who will resit their examination. I'm also grateful to hear from the UNEB chairman that the board has embarked on stakeholder engagements. The revised lower secondary curriculum introduced a fundamental shift in methods of teaching and learning. So, creating awareness and getting the buy-in from all the persons whose involvement and participation is critical in its implementation is essential. This brings me to addressing the issue that has been asked, how far the ministry has gone with reviewing A-level curriculum. Indeed, the ministry commenced the process of reviewing the A-level curriculum. However, we later decided to slow down the pace and instead focus our attention, efforts, and resources on consolidating the implementation of the revised lower secondary curriculum, meaning a curriculum of O-level. Since financial year 2019-2020 to 2022-2023 alone, the government has invested at least 130 billion shillings in the development and rollout of the revised lower secondary curriculum. This excludes the initial funding injected in the earlier stages prior to financial year 2019-2020. And I must say that we still are in need of more resources to ensure that our schools are well acquainted with what it takes to implement the revised lower secondary curriculum the way it was designed to be implemented. Therefore, we believe that it is not wise to embark on another rigorous venture of full view of the A-level curriculum in the environment of limited resources across government. We cannot afford at this time to withdraw resources from the implementation of the newly introduced revised lower secondary curriculum. Doing that shall completely mess up both the new and the old. We have been guided by the technical teams in the ministry that having learners of the revised lower secondary curriculum progress into A-level and utilize the existing advanced level curriculum does not in any way compromise their subject combinations. Furthermore, it does not jeopardize the academic grounding expected of them upon joining higher education. In a nutshell, let us first consolidate the implementation of the revised lower secondary curriculum before embarking on an overhaul of the A-level curriculum. So this is our position as a ministry regarding the A-level curriculum. I am happy to hear from UNEB that there have been engagements between UNEB, the ministry, and the Association of Biology Teachers to address the very worrying trend in performance in that subject. I can only hope that the improved results we are seeing this time is a product of the engagement and will be sustained and further improved because it is not yet at satisfactory levels. Improvements in teaching methods are a must, especially in the implementation of the competence-based curriculum. Perhaps I should also use this opportunity to comment about the issue of school fees and charges that comes up every now and then, especially at the start of a new academic year in basic and secondary education levels. As a ministry, we have received the broad direction from Cabinet regarding the need to implement free and compulsory UPE and USE. Free universal education means that for 4 items that government is paying for, learners in UPE and USE beneficiary schools shall not be expected to be charged in school fees. One area that the government shall not be paying for is the cost of boarding accommodation, even if such a service is offered in a UPE or a USE implementing school. And that is because there is not supposed to be boarding schools in universal education in all the schools we are building across the country. These are supposed to be day schools, but sometimes some schools do turn these day schools into boarding schools, and government is not willing to pay for boarding schools. And Cabinet also pronounced that all schools that receive public funds must implement free and compulsory universal education programs as applicable. And as a ministry, we shall have to hold conversations with the current 105 public secondary schools, as well as the 109 public primary schools that are recipients of public funds but have not been implementing USE and UPE respectively. And Cabinet also went ahead to prescribe a list of 12 items which are categorized as not allowed to be charged as part of school fees in pre-primary, primary, and secondary schools. And these should be formally communicated to all schools by the Ministry of Education and Sports in the very near future. So, government shall start implementing free and compulsory UPE and USE in a phased manner, starting with UPE in financial year 2024-2025, and for this, an additional resource of 309.16 billion is required on top of the 1.3 trillion that government already spends on UPE in financial year 22-23. The reason why, as government, we are focusing on free and compulsory UPE and USE is to give an affordable option to our people who cannot afford